ARMYs truly didn't expect what happened on stage this time. At first, it looked like a regular concert, until Taehyung suddenly approached and wrapped his arm around Jungkook's waist without warning. Jungkook's reaction in that exact split second immediately made everyone lose their focus. Many just realized that this moment actually holds a much deeper meaning than what meets the eye. And believe it or not, what the backstage staff's camera captured from a different angle is exactly what made netizens go absolutely crazy. Hello K-pop lovers! Welcome back to the Taekook Diary channel, the perfect place where we share heartwarming moments and exciting stories about Taehyung and Jungkook that always make ARMY swoon and lose focus. This concert was already highly anticipated by ARMYs all over the world. The stadium atmosphere was at its absolute peak, the energy was incredible, and all the members gave their maximum effort to ignite the audience's spirit. But, amidst the chaotic choreography and the deafening screams, there was one specific moment that somehow felt like it was moving in slow motion. The camera was initially just focusing on the group's overall performance. However, the eagle-eyed ARMY suddenly caught Taehyung's movement slowly shifting from his original position. He walked casually, but his direction was very clear towards one person, Jungkook. There was no cue, no obvious signal seen beforehand. Taehyung just smiled slightly while continuing to step closer. At this point, the audience in the stadium was already getting hysterical because they knew for sure there would be an adorable interaction between them. But, nobody guessed what Taehyung would do next. Right when the song lyrics entered a slightly more relaxed part, Taehyung finally reached Jungkook's side. Without any hesitation at all, he immediately raised his hand and wrapped it around Jungkook's waist incredibly naturally. His movement was so smooth, as if it was already a reflex for him whenever he was near the youngest member. What made this exact moment instantly go viral across various platforms was Jungkook's reaction. Instead of being surprised or pulling away, Jungkook actually leaned his body slightly towards Taehyung. He smiled faintly, but his eyes couldn't hide the fact that he felt deeply comfortable with Taehyung's presence right beside him. The embrace didn't just last for a mere second or two. Taehyung let his hand linger there, while both of them remained professional, singing out to the massive crowd. This interaction seemed to tell us just how strong their bond truly is. But it turns out, there is a tiny detail after this. Following that warm embrace, if you pay close attention to the close-up fancam, there is a micro detail that will genuinely melt your heart. Jungkook briefly turned his head slightly toward Taehyung, and at the very same time, Taehyung also stared right back at him. There was a brief eye contact between them that only lasted for a few seconds, but the meaning behind it felt incredibly deep. No words were spoken, but the restrained smiles from both of them seemed to act as a secret language that only the two of them could understand. Netizens on Twitter immediately dissected this specific moment from various camera angles. Many realized that Taehyung's gaze at that time was fiercely protective and so gentle. On the other hand, Jungkook, who was usually active and hyperactive on stage, suddenly became much calmer and clingier when embraced. The shift in their vibes when they are together is truly natural. But hold on, what happened right after is far wilder. When the choreography finally required them to change formations again, Taehyung inevitably had to release his gentle embrace. But funnily enough, even though Taehyung's hand was no longer resting on Jungkook's waist, the physical distance between them remained incredibly close. Instead of immediately running to the other side of the stage, Jungkook actually followed Taehyung's walking rhythm for several steps. This exact kind of body language is what always succeeds in making ARMY squeal with maximum adoration. The two of them seem to possess their own unique gravity system whenever they are performing on stage. A body language expert on an online K-pop forum even highlighted this brief moment. They mentioned that the way Jungkook responded to Taehyung's physical touch demonstrated a very high level of trust. That was clearly not just standard fan service for the cameras. Their synchronization was seamless. But guess what? The sweet story is absolutely not over yet. If we step back a little bit and look at the full frame of the stage at that moment, there is another thing that is equally distracting. Namely, the reactions of the other members. Right when Taehyung embraced Jungkook, the camera coincidentally caught Jimin and RM who were standing nearby. Both of them briefly glanced at Taekook, and you could see a subtle smile on RM's face. It was as if he was already so used to the antics of these two youngest members whenever they are in their own little world. The relaxed reactions of the members, seemingly just letting them be, added a very warm impression. ARMYs often comment that the BTS members are truly the #1 captains of the Taekook ship, and moments like this perfectly prove that statement. This supportive environment allows Taehyung and Jungkook to always express themselves freely. They never hesitate to show affection in front of thousands. But the biggest surprise came from a staff member's post. Several days after the spectacular concert ended, the massive uproar among ARMYs on social media still hadn't subsided. Especially after a story circulated from a backstage staff member mentioning that before going up on stage, Jungkook had looked slightly exhausted. Their tour schedule is indeed extremely packed, and it is natural for their physical condition to drop occasionally. Now, upon learning this valuable piece of information, ARMYs immediately connected the puzzle pieces. Suddenly, that sudden embrace from Taehyung on stage earlier felt like it held a much larger and more emotional significance. It was no longer just a regular cute interaction. That hug seemingly acted as Taehyung's way of giving extra energy, offering both physical and mental support to Jungkook amidst an exhausting show. Taehyung always has a silent but sweet way of taking care of his precious younger brother. No grand words were ever needed. And right after that, Jungkook's energy soared. Out of the many sweet Taekook interactions we have discussed on this channel, that on-stage hug moment clearly enters the top tier of their best moments this year. This proves that the dynamic of Taehyung and Jungkook's relationship continues to evolve beautifully as time goes by. In the past, we might have seen them teasing and playing around roughly more often. But lately, their interactions feel much more mature, incredibly gentle, and filled with a strong aura of mutual protection. We see Taehyung always making sure Jungkook feels comfortable, and Jungkook always sticking close to Taehyung whenever he needs a sense of security. It is exactly this combination of chemistry that keeps viewers endlessly curious and heavily invested in their ongoing story. This moment teaches us that small gestures, as simple as embracing a waist, can leave a massive emotional impact on those witnessing it. It is no wonder that the fancam gained millions of views worldwide. Wow, it truly feels like we will never run out of things to talk about when it comes to the sweet interactions between our two beloved members. That heart-melting moment on stage really served as concrete proof of just how solid and uniquely beautiful Taehyung and Jungkook's relationship is. Now, I really want to hear your personal thoughts on this, ARMYs. When you first saw the video of this hug randomly pop up on your timeline, what immediately crossed your mind? Do you agree that the way Taehyung looked at him felt completely different from usual? Please drop your own theories or feelings in the comment section below. Let's have a fun and engaging discussion together right there. If you enjoyed our breakdown today and felt your heart warm up, don't forget to click the like button, share this with other ARMYs, and of course, subscribe to Taekook Diary so you never miss out on the latest updates. Thanks for staying until the end. See you in the next one.